I'm unmuted. Good. Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Ashish Jha. Thank you again for having me here. And Felice, thank you for that introduction. So I'll be pretty brief, quick lay of the land of where we are as a country. Infection numbers across the country are way, way down. They are certainly way down here in Massachusetts, partly because we're doing so well on vaccinations. In Massachusetts, more than 80% of adults have gotten at least one shot. More than 70% of everybody eligible over 12 has gotten a shot. And more than 60% of our entire population is fully vaccinated. This is what's really keeping our infection numbers low. Now, if you think about children and what we know about them and where we are on them, right now we have one vaccine that is authorized for children 12 to 17, and that's the Pfizer vaccine. I expect in the upcoming weeks, we're going to have a second vaccine authorized for kids, and that'll be the Moderna vaccine, which has been submitted to the FDA for authorization. Those will probably be our two main ones until we get to the fall. In the fall, I also expect J&J to become authorized for older kids. And in the fall, at some point, I expect younger kids, 5 through 11, to become eligible. And the reason they're not eligible right now is because the clinical trials are still ongoing, and we're studying how well these vaccines work in those kids and how safe they are and what the right dosing is. But to kind of finish up on this and on children, 3 final points. One is the data so far from Pfizer and Moderna suggests that these vaccines are exceedingly safe. I want to talk a little bit about side effects in a second, but they are very, very safe. And just as importantly, they're incredibly effective. Now, the studies so far show that they're 100% effective. I don't think anything in life is 100%, so they'll probably end up being a little less than 100%, but they look like they're quite safe and quite effective in kids. Second, it's really important that kids get vaccinated, and I'll make the argument why. Now, it's true, people love talking about how kids are less likely to get sick than older people. By the way, that's true for everything. In everything, thankfully, kids tend to be more resilient, but it doesn't mean that we don't want to protect children, and we do want to protect them. And these vaccines are very helpful. This virus will eventually become endemic in our country, meaning we're not going to eradicate it. It'll be around forever. And so if kids are not immune, they will end up getting infected at some point down the road. So I think it's very, very important that all kids get immunized. And then finally, the last point I want to make is about some of the side effect issues you've been hearing about. And primarily in children, the issue that has come up is inflammation of the heart muscle, also known as myocarditis, as well as inflammation of the lining of the heart, known as pericarditis. And both of these are quite rare. About 90% of them require no treatment at all. And the 10 to 20% that do require some treatment, kids have thankfully recovered from them. And if you compare the myocarditis risk to the risk of having bad complications if you get COVID, it's not close. In my mind, the evidence so far suggests that kids do much better with vaccinations than they do with COVID itself, and therefore it's really important that kids get vaccinated.